Ask Me Anything by Redical. I was almost killed by my mom when I was young, and the rest of my life has been a living hell. Feel free to ask me anything. Sorry for the shit format. I'm on mobile. TL. DR and article at bottom. Growing up, my life was hell. I watched both of my parents' drug use spiral out of control. They started when I was 5. My dad broke his arm in a work-related injury. That's when it all started. Both of my parents ended up hooked. There were instances where I saw my parents strung out. My dad once had a drug seizure, and my dad once had also passed out while driving. Luckily, it wasn't too hard. Still, he did a hit and run. I remember these years in this particular town devastating. I lived there until I was 10. Then I wanted to visit my hometown to visit family. My parents were arguing about my dad's best friend at the time. She was a girl and my mom was always jealous. I was trying to get them to stop arguing. That's when my mom picked me up by my hair against the wall and told me to mind my own business. I was terrified. My brother didn't really know what was going on. He was 8 at the time. I don't know what happened between then and the moment my mother made us get into the car. That's when I remember my dad pleading for us to get out of the car. My mom sped off and tried to hit him. She missed thankfully. It would have killed him. At the end of the neighborhood, I remember those devastating words, "I'm going to crash into the next car I see. Buckle up. I don't want you to die like me." A part of me thinks she did. My brother and I were in the hospital for 5 or so days. My mom had stabbed herself with a screwdriver after the incident. My mother ended up in jail, but she took a plea and ended up getting out when I was 13. She has been abusing hard drugs since then, including heroin, crack, and meth. Even when she was taking care of my new 3-year-old baby sister and taking crack when pregnant with my baby brother. I don't know why she's even allowed to still have kids. She still thinks I should respect her just because she's my mom. That's not how it works. After the events, I moved in with my grandmother. She had passed away shortly after, though, and the house went to shit. Trash laid everywhere and the water didn't work for months at a time. I had no adult guidance. I mainly attribute my mental health problems to this event. My dad also had continued to use drugs after what happened. He ended up going to jail for selling at one point. He then took methadone behind my stepmom's back. He was unapologetic, and instead started yelling about how he would kill who outed him. It was me after I moved out. I tried to call him out for the suffering he put me through growing up. He said I had to stop blaming people for my problems. I just feel lost. But I want to be there to help people with similar issues. I also need to talk about it to slowly heal. So ask me anything. TL. DR parents abused drugs my whole life. A deep spiral down ended in my mother trying to kill me and my little brother. Mother got out of jail 3 years later. Still thinks I should respect her. Got out and did even harder drugs. Father was negligent and didn't care about my well-being afterwards. My head is a mess. Edit. Row. Thank you guys for over 120 comments and almost 200 upvotes. Here is the article if you were curious. I didn't actually fracture my hip. Pressreader.com link. Verified. How are you doing now? Not great. My mental health is still horrible. I have borderline personality disorder, caused by trauma, anxiety, depression, and doctors debate whether or not I also have bipolar. I'm still trying to recover. How old are you now? I'm 19. How is your mom doing now? Do you still keep in contact with her or do you shut her out of your life completely? Do you still go to school? Stay strong. You'll get over this. My mom just got out of jail. This time for kidnapping a kid that she thought was my baby sister. She ruined her brain because of the drugs. I want to cut her out but I have bad abandonment issues because of the mental health issues that mainly she and my dad caused. I wish I went to school for English but I can't afford it. I had bad grades in high school because I just lacked the motivation. I still feel like I do to this day. I think I just posted this to show that sometimes it's okay to be weak. 1. Are you in therapy? 2. How are you managing relationships with significant others? 3. How is your brother? Yes, I go, but it's not really helping. I'm trying as many meds as I can right now. I have a hard time controlling my temper when it comes to my relationship. but I have a very loving and supportive boyfriend who understands my mental health problems. I'm very grateful for him. He's doing okay. He's 17 now and I'm proud to say that he's joining Coast Guard. It will really help him. I just wish he wasn't living with my dad. What would you like to accomplish for yourself this year? I would like to be able to recognize my personality patterns to better control my borderline personality disorder. My main goal in life right now is to heal. What is something you enjoy doing or that helps with coping with your depression, anxiety? I mean honestly, smoking weed. It's like a medicine for my anxiety. It helps me calm down, especially during a panic attack. I know it's not 100% healthy but it could be worse. I also like to watch Daria, and regression helps as much as I'm ashamed to say it. What do you say when other kids complain about their parents? I realize that others have struggles with their parents, but some people don't realize how good they have it. Like my boyfriend's sister. She is so mean to her mom, but her mom is the sweetest person I know. I tell her mom that her daughter will appreciate her mom one day, and that if she met my mother she would definitely learn to appreciate her mom more. Thank you God being so strong. Proud of you for getting through those tough times. Would a different therapist possibly make a difference? Or group therapy? It can take months, even years, to take effect. You had years of trauma. It can take years to undo all that, you know? Right now group therapy isn't the right choice for me, as I have a hard time relating to other people at the moment and need to focus on myself. Sorry if that sounds selfish. I do want to change my therapist but I'm afraid to hurt his feeling. My abandonment issues goes both ways. I saw up that you have borderline. Have you tried DBT? My girlfriend is current in DBT and it is really helping her as normal therapy didn't help at all. Yes, I've heard of it. There are no DBT places easily accessible to me and my insurance doesn't cover most, though. Did you ever learn how did it start? Were you a perfectly normal family until your father broke his arm and got prescription drugs? Is this one instance of the opioid epidemic? My dad did a lot of party drugs when he was young but he didn't abuse them until he broke his arm. I would say it is. Anything I can do to help? My 2 cents. I am now 28, and though my childhood was unpleasant it was nothing like yours. I have been through 6 years of depression, burnout and have ADHD. Now I have one piece of advice that helped me a lot, but please be very criticizing of what I am going to say. The medication I used to take. I decided to only take what was necessary so that I could actually grow and evolve as a person. I also realized that for me medication for people with ADHD is to help us do things we are not made for. Conform to society, so to say. I don't know how this might relate to your diagnoses, but don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions to your doctors. Try not to hide behind the diagnosis is greater than you are you and nobody is better at that than you are. Try to find what works for you and don't compare yourself to others. It is also totally okay to ask others for help or depend on others for help. Have you thought about moving to a different state for fresh start? I think that would help a lot. Moving to a different part of the country to restart your life is like giving yourself a second chance. I would if I had the money to, but I don't. I really want to move to Colorado though. I have an apartment with my boyfriend though. Did you see the play Dear Evan Hansen? You will be found. You might enjoy it. I'll be sure to check it out. What are you doing now? When I first saw Havre de Grace I was a bit shocked. I live in Bel Air lol. That's crazy LMAO. Right now I'm living with my boyfriend and focusing on my mental health. He's very supportive. What do you currently find enjoyable in your life? What makes you feel like life is worth living still? Sports, games, movies, social media, technology, volunteering, politics? What are your long-term goals for your life? What do you want most right now? Where so you honestly think your parents should be? In jail the rest of their lives? Dead? An asylum? Therapy? The only thing that really keeps me going is my boyfriend, my 2 best friends, and the hope to see my baby siblings again. I'm not sure. I feel lost, but I'd like to own a weed farm one day and maybe have a kid or 2. I feel like I was meant to be a mom, to not be stuck in my mental illness, to just be a normal person. When will you don a mask and cape and seek vengeance? I'd rather my parents just accept their actions, but when they don't, because I know they won't. I've been to Havard a Grace and that part of MD. Wild mix of charming and, well, not so charming. It has character. Anyway, what's one thing that makes you smile? I have 4 hermit crabs. I think they are super cute and they make me happy. Do you have fibromyalgia by any chance? It's caused by stress and trauma. I'm not sure. My doctors told me that it's not actually a bone issue, but a muscular issue. What do you do to get away from reality? I smoke weed and watch an adult cartoon. Right now, I'm working on Daria, which is my new favorite. I also like Disenchantment, Paradise PD, Beavis and Butthead, American Dad, I Love Haley, and Big Mouth. I also like to write sometimes. Do you forgive either of your parents for what they've done? I've really tried, but it's hard, because as I get older I realize more and more how I was abused. It was less clear when I was younger, and I'm hurt because the 2 people I thought I could trust turned out to be the people I trust the least. Thanks for watching this Redical video. Subscribe for the best Reddit videos straight to your feed 3 times a day.